Hello, welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and we just saw Quentin Tarantino's 9th film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And how was your movie-going experience?
I very much enjoyed it.
Does not go where you're expecting. That's one thing I can say for sure about this movie, is that I had no idea what was going to happen at any given moment. And I'll definitely get into more what I mean with that in spoilers, but for now, it's a fairly unpredictable movie, which is rare nowadays, but it is Tarantino, so I guess I should have expected a little bit of that.
Yeah, I just kind of trusted what I was told, what the movie was going to be about, and, can't do that with Tarantino.
No, you can't. The only hint I will give is that it's the best comparison you can make to his other work is Inglourious Basterds. Same sort of thing of historical events, but Tarantino's not. It's Tarantino. It didn't feel like a Tarantino for the first 2 hours of this movie.
No, it just seemed like a straightforward documentary at first.
Right. I definitely would have guessed it was directed by an indie director. But if I didn't know it was Tarantino until the end of the movie, the last half hour or so, maybe a little bit more, I would have had no idea it was Tarantino. It had very little Tarantino feel to it. There was no camera angles, no editing effects, no dialogue that was reminiscent of what we're used to seeing from Tarantino for the majority of the film. And then the last piece of the film was oh wait,
quintessential Tarantino.
Tarantino's directing this. Not that it was bad, but I felt like this movie could have been half as long and it would have been okay.
I did not realize it was 3 hours until we got out of the theater.
You didn't feel it?
I thought it felt long, but until I walked out and looked at the clock, I really did not expect 3 hours.
You keep seeing things and you're like, is this leading to something? And half of it does and half of it doesn't. But at the same time, I'll say that's good storytelling, because I've often thought about that in a lot of these movies. If it's showing you something, it must mean something. And he showed you a lot of things that didn't mean anything. So you don't know where it's going, and that makes it harder to predict. And I'm torn, because I really felt like it could have been a lot shorter, but at the same time, maybe that's good filmmaking.
I feel like the surprise last half hour wouldn't have hit as hard if it hadn't been so dragged out beforehand. Really tossed us for a loop when we got to it.
Maybe. I'll put it this way. After the ending, I was okay with the rest of the movie. I didn't care anymore. But I don't know how that will affect its rewatchability. I don't know how much I'm going to want to rewatch this whole movie, or if I'm just going to want to skip to the end. Oh, by the way, Tarantino's foot fetish was on full blowout mode.
That was the one Tarantino trope.
God, that was the one clue. That was the one clue. There was 6 foot shots? You normally get 1 to 2 in a Tarantino movie. It was every time there's a girl.
All different people, all dirty feet.
Yeah, sometimes they had blisters and just. He's at the movies and she put up her feet and I was like, that's disrespectful. Putting them on the windshield, that's just dangerous. It was never a moment where the filmmaking was bad, but I was just can we get where we're going? I don't know. I'm torn. I really am. But take with a grain of salt, because I didn't like the last 2 Tarantino films the first time I saw them.
Okay.
And then I ended up loving Django. It's one of my favorite movies of all time after I saw it the second time. And Hateful Eight, I still don't love, but it's a good movie.
Right.
So this one, it might just take a second viewing for me to love it. I don't know. This is first thoughts for a reason. It's not second thought.
So we could talk about the acting.
Okay, talk about the acting.
Not great at this one.
You're not great at that?
Hold on, I'm thinking about it.
I'm not good at speaking things.
Never. No, I liked Leo a lot in this. As usual. I could feel the emotional journey of his character through his later years in acting.
And the bromance between him and Brad Pitt was great. I love both of their characters. In the trailer, it almost seemed like Brad Pitt was just doing his Inglourious Basterds character again. It's not the case at all. It's a brand new character, fully fleshed out. Actually, one of my favorite roles by Brad Pitt ever. I loved him in this. Yeah, no, it was great filmmaking. I was impatient, I guess. But looking back, I feel like the ending justified the waiting. Tarantino's approach to filmmaking is always a certain level of realism and stylisticness. Stylism. When it comes to his dialogue and his interaction with people, it's always supposed to be the most realistic. That's why it's so different than what you normally get out of normal movies dialogue. And to have a plot like this, where not everything that happens is important, is actually more realistic, and so it's an interesting stylistic choice that you don't see from film, and it's one of those things that it's jarring because we're not used to it, but maybe it's actually better. And I don't know. Then I have to think about it.
I just feel other like directors, other studios, they just be worried about people getting bored with the mundane stuff. They just try to cram the best shots in. It definitely feels a lot more natural this way. It definitely leads into that ending a lot better, I think.
What would you rate this movie? Like out of 10?
I feel like I'd give it around an 8.
I'm feeling
off
8
the first
too.
Watch.
Yeah, off the first watch, like I said, need to come back to it. But I feel like it's somewhere an 8 because the last bit was so good, but it did drag at times, and I feel like it wasn't a perfect film. So I feel like, but it's still a really good film. Like I enjoyed myself the whole time, and as much I was like kind of confused and like, can we get where we're going? I wasn't bored. I was just confused. Like, what am I missing? All right, what else can we say that's not spoilers?
Yeah, no, most of the things I want to say are in spoilers.
Right, I feel like all we can say is that apparently Tarantino hates hippies. That's the main thing that this movie confirmed for me, is how much I hate hippies.
I thought they were all fantastic. Loved every hippie.
So, long story short, if you like Tarantino, you're gonna like this movie. And if you don't know whether or not you like Tarantino by now, I don't know how to help you. Just, I guess, start with Reservoir Dogs and work your way up. And if you don't get here, sorry. But, yeah, no, this is... I wouldn't say it's his best after my first viewing. I can't say that it's his best. But it's definitely not his worst. I like this at least more than Hateful Eight, which is, like I said, lower on his list for me. I put it somewhere around the middle, I feel like, with his movies.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
For the first watch, yeah, I think that's fair.
So it's on first watch, I'm going to say I don't think it's breaking any real ground, but it is still quality Tarantino, and if you love Tarantino, you're going to enjoy this. So that's our thoughts, spoiler free. We're going to get into spoilers now, though, so if you don't want to hear that, you can click away. Just make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye. So... yeah, the plot essentially is like...
love it.
It's essentially like an alternate reality type thing. Same thing with Inglourious Bastards of what if they actually caught Hitler then? This is what if the hippies went one house over. Instead of killing Sharon Tate, what if they went one house over? How much would that change? It changes a lot, apparently.
Turns out Sharon Tate's neighbors can fight.
Yeah. Flamethrowers.
On acid.
Yeah,
after smoking an acid cigarette.
He sobered up so quick.
I know.
He went from
until the cops came in.
Yeah. This movie was pretty much impossible to predict. Except for once that scene got going, you knew what was gonna happen with the dog and everything. Yeah. But it's fine because you couldn't wait for it to happen. You're like, he's gonna do the click, and it's gonna all go downhill, and you're like, oh, it was so satisfying. Brad Pitt's dog was phenomenal. I love Brad Pitt's dog might have been my favorite character. Good dog. He's the best boy.
My favorite part of the ending, because I completely forgotten about this. That at the beginning of the film, when they were introducing Leonardo's characters, previous films, and they had the flamethrower from 14 whatever.
Once he walked to his shed, I was like, flamethrower! Flamethrower!
I didn't see it until he brought it out. I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
And this movie, it is such a slow burn with your hatred toward hippies. Like, it really is, like, not to seem like a hateful person, but Tarantino obviously felt passionately about. Because, like, this whole movie is a slow burn where you're like, man, screw these people. And then unleash hell on them. And like I said, Brad Pitt, I think, is the best part of this movie, mainly because of that last scene. Like, he's great throughout, but that whole last scene, the whole fight scene, and his one-liners are flying, and it's just great. Where it's like the guy is like, I think it's actually something that the guy really said in real life. I could be completely off base by saying that, but the hippie is like, I'm Satan and I'm doing Satan's work.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I don't think that's your name. I think it was something a lot more losery than that.
Like something like Rex.
Something like Rex.
Hey, Tex.
Yeah, Tex. Throws the can of dog food and breaks her nose. The dog bites the guy's hand off. Oh my god, it was so good. The whole movie is a slow build where you're just waiting for him to kick somebody's ass.
The Italian wife gets in on the action too. I'm starting to think he really could have taken Bruce Lee.
That version of Bruce Lee was not very impressive.
Same flying sidekick right into a car.
Throughout the movie, there's like scenes from movies that the actors have been in. Those scenes felt a lot more Tarantino-y, especially when he's like early in the film, he's mowing down a bunch of Nazis with a flamethrower, and it's like, that would not have been in a movie in the 50s. That would not happen. That's just Tarantino.
Yep. Definitely had that Inglourious Basterds feel in that scene.
It did, really.
I really felt for Leonardo's character's journey through this movie. It's just being a hot young actor and then being older and kind of past his prime.
Apart, yeah.
Yep. Doing these just one-time episode guest appearances on various TV shows, spaghetti westerns, getting the Italian wife.
Yeah, and that's really that whole arc. I was wondering what was the point where we were going with this, and I still don't think it meant much of anything.
Hey, he always said he wondered what would happen if he just bumped into Sharon Tate and his neighbors one day, and then he was hanging out with Roman Polanski. Yeah, maybe get into the films. I think that's where it would have gone had we seen more.
Yeah, and that's true.
Yo, that's a big fucking bug. That thing is huge.
Wait, what? Wait.
I just climbed on your roof. The fucking thing was huge.
I'm terrified now. What are you talking about?
I don't know where it's gonna come down, but that fucking thing was huge.
Well, if it starts stabbing through the top of my roof like Jumanji, I'm out of here.
I can't.
Come on.
God damn it.
We're just talking, and then you see like eyes in the back. The whole thing with Margot Robbie, none of that went anywhere, and you're just waiting for her to get murdered the whole time, and it's not happening. Yeah. They make you think that the old man's really dead, and then it's just like, oh.
Everything they said was absolutely true.
They're just really weird people.
But they're really honest weird people. Hey, everything they said was true.
Yeah.
I'm blind. How could I see the
Yeah, turn into Anchorman 2 for a second. I'm blind! Oh god. That's a straight up ripoff from Anchorman 2, but I'll let it slide. Throughout like the first 2/3, the whole audience was like getting restless. Like they're like, what is this movie?
Yeah, I was shocked people got up and left to get snacks and go to the bathroom as much as they did.
But, like, I heard, to our right, I heard some guys talking, and they just kept going, like, what is Tarantino doing? I felt like, I don't know, but hopefully something happens. And I do think it does pay off. It does come full circle where it's like, I'll keep saying it, but just the way he told this story was so different than what you'll get out of cinema. So it's very unique, very original. And the more I think about it, the more I think I do like it a lot.
You know, I was shocked we didn't see much of the film. And I don't know if he was in the trailers at all, because I think I only saw the first one. But it was the Sharon Tate story. I actually thought it was the story of the Tate murders. So I thought we were going to see more Charlie Manson. But we saw him in that one-click scene. I don't think he was named there.
No, they didn't say it. He just said he was a friend of the guy, Terry, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And then moved on.
I'm pretty sure that was Charlie. That was the only scene with him in it.
Doesn't go where you're expecting it to go at all. You're just waiting for poor Margot Robbie to be killed the whole movie and then it doesn't happen. Also, I thought it was hilarious where, so, you have a scene, I just watched Wolf of Wall Street, and you have a scene where Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio are sitting in the car, and then the next car pulls over, and it's Margot Robbie and the guy in it, and Leonardo DiCaprio, oh my god. You're like, again? And then he's like, that's Roman Polanski. I was like, oh, okay, it's fine.
We all know that Quentin saw Wolf on Wall Street, saw that foot scene with Margot and Leo, and said, I need to do something like that.
God, there were so many obnoxious feet. It was like the third time when I was like, dude. I had to say something because I was like, this is so much.
Next time you watch, you gotta keep a foot counter.
Next time I watch it, that'll be the shot game. Take a shot for every pair of feet you see. So yeah, I feel like an 8 is fair. I feel like that's how I felt about it. And it was funny because like for a while I was sitting around 6 thinking, and then the ending was like, no, it's much better than a 6. I said thank you. Yeah, so I'm sitting somewhere around an 8. I think that's fair.
Agree with the day.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's what we thought.
Yep.
Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you.